Good afternoon. It's the 26th of May 2020, and I thought that perhaps it is time to update a bit my general communications. Life has been changing very quickly recently. I have been devoted to the personal sphere of it, which is really engaging. Normally, I have this reality of sitting there calmly in my room on my own, in my own flat, after all, in my living room. And if there's a problem, I'm thinking it over. Quite often I listen to music. When I feel really, really bad, I listen to music and dance. So when the music is loud, it means that I'm feeling really bad. And if I dance like crazy, that's also the sign of life having become a bit too much, a bit too difficult. I have 3 singles in my collection. One is Ricky Martin's Living La Vida Loca, another Jennifer Lopez's Let's Get Loud, and the third one is Cher, Strong Enough. I don't listen to Strong Enough too often. I have not listened to it for a long time because it's very aggressive and it's very a rejection actually that one sends to the whole world, especially if one listens to music the way I do and dances the way I do, where the whole universe seems to be dancing with me, so to say, it is receiving the energy. Normally the first single I would reach for would be Ricky Martin, which creates a special feeling. So now when I made this playlist, I've made 2 playlists of songs. I started with the one revealing the power of the singers, of the music, of the entertainment industry, and the power is political. So I prepared it, and there's this clash, which is probably not only on the spiritual level but also on the intellectual one, between me and the Polish diplomacy, and not only Polish, I believe. It might result from their attitudes, their real attitudes to the people in the industry. Well, they have given me a lesson for sure. They have treated me badly, but I sustain what I said. This is a powerful political leadership, and there's no doubt there must be intelligence in that, if not genius. So this is very difficult for me emotionally and cognitively too, in the sense of organizing it all in my mind, in my world, because for the first time we are on 2 sides of the barricade, so to say, except that I'm not in front of the barricade, rather sitting on the white or black horse, like if you want to imagine it in the entertainment terms, like Ram. So but that is obviously just an image, just an icon. Normally spiritually it works differently, I'm aware of that. Uh, so, because this is between the communist regime and the monarchy, I have created a queendom, so it's obvious that I have chosen monarchy. This is not the monarchy as we know it from history. The idea of monarchy I have is the idea of the future. I don't know if, for instance, the kingdom of Bhutan is also in that sort of general arrangement that the British monarchy seems to be in. I have a totally different concept of the relation between the monarch and the people. So I never think of them in terms of servant, in terms of subjects. And this is more like you are the mother of the nation or the father of the nation, but perhaps it's not that familiar. It's hard to explain, but these are the people in your care. That's basically how I think of my monarchy. And of course, what I'm creating is totally unreal in the current world, because the world is on a different moral level. So people generally represent what Annie Lennox sang about. Some of them want to use you, some of them want to abuse you, some of them want to how did it go further? Some of them want to get used by you, and so on. So this is insanity, and I believe it is pathological. And the entertainment industry has a grip on people's minds, even if they are not aware of it. There's the competitive rising power, or perhaps already risen, in the fashion world. I'm not sure if the two worlds are in any conflict or not. I believe that right now they are on the same. They have the same purpose. So this is a case similar to the case of Russia and China. Perhaps there will come a day when Russia and China will have a conflict. But as far as the present time is concerned, this is the purpose, and it's not about who is stronger. It's everybody doing their job because they have the purpose. So I prepared this list of songs which carry meanings, and the meanings are here. As we look at them, let me open that playlist. Hold on a second. Here it is, what's going on in the world, YouTube. So I added my speeches, two of my speeches at the beginning, to make clear that we have different roles, of course, and I did not add them to complete the movement. I added them to make the politicians generally aware of my perception of what's going on. I started talking about it, and then I lost the thread of thought. I believe that we have a problem of certain preconceptions being deep-seated. So even if the truth just is there in front of you, you tend to not to see it at all, to see some part of it which is totally different from the whole picture and gets different significances. Um, uh, you pervert what you see, or well, you don't even care to look, um, or your interpretation goes astray. All sorts of phenomena are happening on the cognitive level when the person is confronted with the truth. So this is something done to the brain, I believe, to the natural power of the brain. And I have a totally different perception of it. And I'm not saying that this is totally correct, but it has this one surplus. It's different from what all say, all within the groups, in certain ideological groups. So there's the Europe Address and Our Times, 2020. And then there are songs. The Sisters of Mercy, Dominion, Mother Russia, Shade, Soldier of Love, Natalia Oreiro, Kessie, Sandra, Hiroshima, Modern Talking, Win the Race, John Lennon, Imagine, Owal, Mezzo, Duże P, Liber, Jest nas wielu, There are many of us. So this is a Polish song. Ricky Martin, New in La Vida Loca, Ricky Martin, She Banks, Ricky Martin, Maria, Ricky Martin, La Copa de la Vida, Rihanna, Sledgehammer, Selena, well, let's keep it Spanish, Selena Gomez, Same Old Love, Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart, Bonnie Tyler, Holding Out for a Hero, Pink Floyd, Another Brick in the Wall, Full, Part 1, 2, 3, Ini Hamozek, I don't know how to pronounce it, excuse me. Here Comes the Hot Stepper, Picasso Baby, JZ, Rihanna, Don't Stop the Music, Leonard Cohen, First We Date Manhattan, Sade, Smooth Operator, Whitney Houston, Queen of the Night, The Matrix, Navras, Orlando, 1992, Coming by Jim Somerville, Fana, Merhat Main, I don't know how to read it, Hindi, Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation, Madonna, Vogue, and I found a special version, Madonna, Don't Cry For Me, Argentina, and Rihanna, Bitch Better Have My Money, featuring Agnieszka Rojek as Rihanna, or Rihanna as Agnieszka Rojek. So this is exactly what they put into my body. So overall, this is a movement of totally powerful, independent, I mean they are dependent obviously, but independent in the sense of being guided by the purpose, people or persons, I would say persons, and these are totally powerful spirits reaching for the powers they have, the powers that are quite different from what we normally think in terms of. And I don't know, I noticed that you do not see all that politics when you listen to the songs. I wanted to be a theater director, so perhaps this is why I put a lot of attention into what is happening in the videos. Obviously I don't see all, I don't have access to the language and more than language, I don't have the knowledge, but the very viewing of video, let me give you an example, Sade, Soldier of Love. Why the title is Soldier of Love? So, and why the video clip, you know, you think that it's, oh, so now we are going to love each other, everybody, the whole world will live in peace. And this is not about it, that's the point. So, a lot of time passed before I understood it, and I'm not sure if I understand it correctly, but I think I do. So generally I have the picture of this woman of the real life before Christianity, and then I have the picture of the fleet arriving, Christ, love. And then I have not too clear a picture of what happened to the people there. So now you have soldiers of love, and you know what it means, because you have taught them. So this is love. Well, we know that Rihanna was trying to redefine love in terms of oral sex. Rihanna is in it, of course. So if you watch Sledgehammer, well, you will know what powers you are dealing with. So she is rising not only stones, if she can, she is rising the dead from the dead, and she's not rising the nice Miss Royek. If we imagined Miss Royek were dead, she's rising the spirits of her kind. And spirits have been leaving their places of rest. The rest for the spirits of the ancient times is over in many places. If you look at holding out for a hero, you see the Puritan women executed, probably virgins. They are virgins, consumed by fire. And well, I remember that was probably a decade ago or more. There was a nun executed in Russia. Can you imagine it in our times? So we have all of them, you know. What is the Black movement? Is it about helping the poor? Well, check Janet Jackson, Rhythm Nation. So you should think about it all, and you should see it. They have a very strong position for negotiations, which you do. I do not, because I'm not in the arrangement, and of course no one is to negotiate for me. So I prepared this list, and you know, for the first time I can see that this word is and excuse me, let me mention this, of course, the Polish song There Are Men of Us, owal, mezo, duże, p, liber, is in a direct connection with the Ukraine, the Orange Revolution. This is very powerful spiritually, because there are so many symbols involved, rituals. And so on. And this is really the first time when I started realizing that, for instance, that our ways will part, and we might be fighting the real war, because there will be the war. I am certain there were. So I had a bit of strong emotions, um, and I made another playlist, which is the playlist of my favorite songs. So this is what's been happening in my life recently. The enemy playlist, what's going on in the world, and then my life actually, which is the songs I love. And some of the people are on both lists. So this is basically what's been going on, and certain things have surfaced. The condition of my body is even worse. But well, this is life, and I'm not sure what's going to happen next. So this is the huge area of my life. I have made the recording concerning the battles lost. So these are battles, and I have not changed my convictions, but I have changed my attitudes to people. And you know, left on my own with enemies where I should have allies. But that's the point. The war is on, and you know, I decided for Habsburg in the end. I mean, because of course I felt very strongly for the British royal family. That's Henry VIII, I believe. But also Elizabeth I, obviously, because of Shakespeare. So, paradoxically enough, the first play I read this lifetime in the primary school was Julius Caesar. And the story is, I loved watching costume movies, those great monumental costume movies, and one of them on TV. One of them was Julius Caesar. So I wanted to learn more about Julius Caesar, and at the time I was still very suppressed. So I was great at school when solving a problem, interpreting a poem, doing my grammar, working on the sentence, you know, all the parts, how they relate to each other, or at maths, especially at maths. But as far as maths is concerned, it was a few lengths before the rest of the class. But I was a bit stupid. I'm still not very, 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 very bright. But then the suppression was obvious. Certain things were simply beyond whatsoever cognitive excess. And so you have the funny situation where I reach for the book on the shelf to learn more about Julius Caesar, and it happens to be a certain guy whose name is Shakespeare, and I cannot even read it because it's written in those funny letters. So this is how I started reading Shakespeare. But then I read his poems, and I loved it. And I decided that I would learn English so that I could read Shakespeare in the original, which I did, graduating from the Jagiellonian University in 2001. So this is full qualification. Oh, I've lost the thread of my thought again. What did I want to say? Julius Caesar significantly enough. Um, I know, Elizabeth I. So obviously Elizabeth I must have been present through Shakespeare, or between, or near Shakespeare, or thanks to Shakespeare. And we also had other classes, for instance, if we think of sonnets, there are other sonnet sequences. So we had, so this opens, because if you have only William Shakespeare, it's like root. But once you realize that there are other sonnet sequences happening at the same time, and they are quite, they have quite a lot of life in them too, it becomes Elizabeth I. So the British monarchy was always on my mind, even if I never thought of it in terms of a monarchy, of the monarchy actually, but present through the English philology and the Shakespeare. I believe some issues must have started with Romanticism, because I was very strongly in the Romantic spirit. I have been very strongly in the spirit all my life. But then there's the development of the situation, and now I'm working on New Romanticism, which is my philosophy. And it takes all those ideas, and it is supposed to come up with new ideas. Because if you think of freedom and tyranny, the tyranny of our times is totally different from the tyranny of the 19th century. And also we have enough time and experience to assess the rule of the people, which is why I have decided for monarchy. Definitely I'm not the person, I mean, to be honest, if the king did something to me, I would probably deprive him of the throne, because why should the king do some wrong to me? Why should he harm me? So this is very difficult. No one speaks the language, or no one does it in public, or if they do, they are not my interlocutors. But I can feel it coming, and I believe it has to do with the cosmic order, with the right to rule actually. The people have lost the right to rule, and the crime committed against me is the critical evidence. And I know it will come, but before it comes, there will be war, because right now we are in the communist rule. We, humankind, which is deadly, because I don't know how you can get free after having had communism. And this is slavery, of course. So the left-wing movements get a new perspective, but they are overpowering right now. And the celebrity world obviously belongs to the left wing, the fashion world. Which makes my situation peculiar. I have not worked much, but I have changed the arrangement of my table, my desk, again. I have my grammar books for foreign languages, Spanish, French and Russian. I have my history books to finally resume the study for the course on Tudors. I have also put back on my table the books for economy and business, because I have moved away from it, and I believe that it is the continuation of my conflict with Maya Rostowska, so I need to make, well, probably they will take it for their routers, but all the same, I need to create a powerful brand, and I need knowledge for that. So as a perspective, it definitely is going to be happening in Polish, English, German and Russian. What else do I have here? I have by my side Macbeth, which is my, well, what I hold on to in the hope of breaking through the foul is fair, fair is foul. Business and law, excuse me, business and law. Economy, business and law. And I have more things. So this is generally what's been happening in my life. I also have books that I need to give back to the library. They have been here for over a year and I still haven't read them, so this is all very difficult. On the whole, the important thing, and right now I'm certain of it, especially after spending so much time watching the video clips, I believe that my idea, my intuition concerning the need for, I don't know, liberation is not a good word because it has those left-wing connotations, and I am the right wing. But a rebalance, or even not a rebalance, coming back to life, I believe, of all those spirits of the life that had been before Christianity. So this is really, so this is the celebrities, actually, the Latin American people and the black people and other people too, white people have it too. We had life before Christianity too, and I am in that as well, because when I was 16, I don't know what happened. I lost memory of that situation, and I don't remember how it started, but I was actually kissed by a man who is a Satanist. He was from Czechoslovakia. His name was Chuck, and I don't know how it happened, but he kissed me, and he kissed me at the Waver Royal Castle. So this is a special place, but there's more to it. He kissed me next to the monument of, let me check the name, in Polish it's Światowy. And in English it's Baruch Idol, Światowy, World Seeker. A 19th century sculpture one of the few monuments of pre-Christian Slavic beliefs. So this is the connection. So you see the paradox of the situation. On the one hand, we are spiritually very, very close, and on the other, politically, we are divided by the left-wing, right-wing thinking. Well, to cut a long story short, Agnieszka Justitia I of Onestia, Agnieszka Beata Magdalena Rojek.